Hello, everybody. Welcome to Oxford Studios, Oxford Community Television. I'm Terry Stiles, and I am again with Dr. Mack, and it is Dr. Mack Is In is the new show that we're creating here. I think
Excited.
you deserve to have your own show.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you, and thank you for coming back. I think your
Absolutely.
information is so fun,
Absolutely.
and so you make me think about things I don't normally think about health-wise.
Sure. And I feel that so many people want a more holistic way of living. They want a more holistic way of doing things. And there's so much information out there. Sometimes it can be overload, and I get everyone has their own opinions, right? But you know, I love talking to people about more natural ways of doing things and just how to care for yourself better, so you can get the optimization for your own health and feel as good as you possibly can.
Yeah, that's terrific. And you know, I'm starting to take your advice here and there, and I am feeling better.
Good.
I get caught up in the whole vitamin thing, and that's rabbit holes you can go down.
Yeah, of course.
One day we're going to sit and talk about vitamins, but right now, because it's warm and it's summertime, I think we should address some summertime issues. One of them is, last year I went to the dermatologist, right? And she had several places. I think she shot me about 8 times, and then an actual sliced and diced and the whole bit. And it's because I've always been out in the sun. So what is the best thing we can do to protect ourselves in the sun?
So again, there's important things we can get from the sun, like vitamin D, for example, which is really important, especially here in this northern hemisphere. Okay, or you know, even if we lived in Florida, Arizona, etc., a lot of people still have deficient vitamin D levels because they're inside all the time, or when they're going outside, they're immediately putting on sunblock. And I'm not dissing sunblock. We're gonna get there. But again, it's not a way that we can get that vitamin D and absorb that vitamin D. We don't get a ton of vitamin D from the foods that we eat, so we really have to get it from either supplement wise or from the sun. And I can tell you, out of the thousands and thousands of labs that I've done, generally speaking, if you live in Michigan and are not supplementing for vitamin D, then you probably need some vitamin D. And of course, you want to get your levels checked, conventional ranges. So what you see from your primary care physician, they're going to 30 to 100. I do functional medicine, so I want to see you in that sweet spot, 40 to 70, maybe up to 80, depending on, again, other things that you have going on with you. So every patient is a little different on what, you know, if I want it at a little bit higher level or if you're in that optimal. But to kind of review protecting yourself from the sun, obviously we want to avoid the hottest part of the day. Okay. So
I can't tell you how many times I see people running.
Oh my gosh,
at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Sure.
Or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That doesn't make sense to me.
And I think that the hottest time is typically between your 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock at night. So really trying to avoid, you know, direct sunlight. And if you are in that sunlight, making sure that you're applying and reapplying appropriate sunblock. And we can talk about different types of sunblock that we can use. So if you're going to get that natural sunlight, you know, I recommend early in the morning. So be outside in the morning where it's a little bit cooler, that sun's not so damaging. But if you're outside for more than 20 to 30 minutes, you want to start thinking about protecting yourself from the sun. So there's multiple ways that can be done. So you can use clothing. There's a lot of really good UV clothing trending now, and I'm sure everybody's seen it. And if you haven't, go check it out. Long sleeves, and the material's thin. We think like, oh gosh, like especially last week when it was in the 90s and the heat index was over 100. We're like, oh, we don't want to wear long pants and long sleeves and so forth. But the material's fairly thin. And if you actually look at a lot of countries that are around the equator, everyone's covered, right? They have they're protecting their skin from the sun because it's so harsh. And I mean, oh my gosh, I could go down tangents, with the toxicities we have, with the environment, with the smog and the smoke and everything, what else is damaging our skin.
Right. Which is our largest organ, right?
Right. So again, protective clothing can be really helpful. A hat, an appropriate hat. Again, all my gardeners out there or bird watchers, make sure something with a brim that can actually protect the back of your neck is really important. They do make think about that. They do make like some cooling cloths as well, but going to sunblock, like if you don't want to wear the long sleeve, the long pants, there's lots of different sunblocks out there, lotions and gels and sprays and so forth, and you can go to the store and you can get whatever.
And so the higher the number, the better the block.
But
does that mean you can go longer without reapplying?
No, it does not mean that you can go longer without reapplying. Generally, if you're sweating a lot or if you're in the water, you want to reapply right afterwards because it can wear off. And again, generally, if you're going to be outside for a long time, we want something at least at an SPF of 30, if not, a 40 or 50.
Okay. Does it go like higher than that?
It can even go higher than that. Okay. There hasn't been anything, quote unquote, proven that a 75 is better than a 50.
Are there harmful elements to sunblock?
So depending on what you get, yes, of course, everything's chemicals, right? So again, your main brands that you see, that if you're going to your local grocery store, if you're going to Meijer, Kroger, the drugstore, you're typically going to get the Coppertone or I see Banana Boat. I'm trying to think of some of those brands, right? Those are mostly made of chemicals. So again, a more natural one, you would want to look for something with zinc in it. Okay. Here's the caveat. That's the one that leaves that white, right?
Got it. Sure.
Right. So again, they actually make some chaps. You can get some chapstick with some SPF in it. But again, some things that we don't think about, applying it to the top of our ears if we have a part in our hair, or if maybe we don't have hair, we want to protect those noggins as well. And we can actually go one step further. If you're looking at different sunblock types, there's some that are safe for water, so for our reefs and so forth. So
good.
Let's go one step further. Let's try to protect our environment. So looking for something that is reef safe, coral reef safe, because we know there's been a lot of damage because of the chemicals, and because sunblock is one of them.
Crowded beaches where you can see that oil slick.
Oh yeah, in the water. Sure.
I do. When we wrap this up, when we come back, I want to talk about your eyes too. And keeping your eyes safe from the sun.
Sure.
So I love what you just talked about, the clothing. I have used those UV t-shirts. They're wonderful.
I've got a bunch of them.
And with kids, they're wonderful.
Yeah, I've got some cute dresses and
other
things.
Kidding.
Yeah,
didn't know about that part.
Great things.
We're going to go shopping on our break, so we'll be right back. Welcome back to Dr. Mack Is In. I love that title. And we were talking about how to protect ourselves from the sun. Yes, I found out where I can buy some cute little sundresses on the break. If you need to know, give us a call. We'll tell you. But we didn't get to talk about eye protection.
Sure. So I've already mentioned hats.
Yeah,
so hats can be really, really helpful, whether you're wearing, mostly men are going to wear baseball caps, but, let's face it, everybody likes a good baseball cap. Again, if you're out gardening or doing yard work, you may want to get one with a
your ear protection.
full brim to protect the tops of your ears, the back of your neck. They make hats with, kind of a covering here. So believe it or not, that brim can be really, really helpful for protecting your eyes from the sun. And of course, sunglasses, folks. Sunglasses are so important.
They really are.
And for your babes at home, the little ones, get them in sunglasses. Of course, the darker the lens is, that can help you protect you even more.
That makes sense.
And something that actually has reflective front,
like the mirrored ones.
So like that mirrored reflection on there can actually help.
It does reflect the
because
sun.
It can reflect the sun as opposed to it all coming through through the lens. So I know there's tons of really cute sunglasses out there.
And hats. There's some really cute hats out there.
With all different types, pink and green and blue and different colored lenses. So those might be a little bit helpful, but really getting ones that are darker, but not so dark you can't see, of course. But those can also be helpful for protecting your eyes because we can burn our eyes. The sun can burn our eyes. So being outside all day, your eyes
on the water and reflecting up.
Sure. You guys don't forget to get this part in the water, right? If everything reflects up.
Sure. Wow.
But if you do if your eyes do feel tired or scratchy, itchy, scratchy after being outside all day, really consider some eye drops to really just help rehydrate your eyes. Of course, making sure you're getting plenty of water. That could be a whole nother.
I was going to say, that's a whole segment there.
We can go segment into hydration.
Because I'd like to ask you about all the additives that they're putting in to water. The something IV, liquid IV
different
kind of things.
Electrolytes.
Thank you. That doesn't hurt, right? To use that, especially if you're going to be outside.
Generally, no, especially if we're going to be sweating a lot.
Oh yeah.
So the rule of thumb, at least my rule of thumb, is drink half your body weight in ounces of water every single day. So whether that's water, herbal tea, something non-caffeinated, because caffeine can dehydrate us as it acts like a diuretic, so can actually, that's why when we drink coffee and tea, we gotta run to the bathroom right away.
True,
so
that makes sense.
just making sure you're staying hydrated. Of course, fruit juices, what I'm gonna say about that, has a lot of sugar in it. So consider, if you do enjoy fruit juice, watering it down or just adding a splash to water to just so you don't feel like, I got to drink water again and I don't like water and so forth. But so important when it's hot outside because
or out on the boat.
Right.
I've seen, so I live on a canal. And I've seen people out on the same boat all day long and I'm thinking, are they drinking enough water? They're gonna dehydrate out there, and you forget you're out there having fun. Even though you're swimming in the water, you're not intaking that water. You're swimming in it. So
So making sure you're taking that time to drink water as well. Even if we're in the water, if we are partaking in a lot of boating, or being outside activities, might
those
involve
party
a few
drinks.
cocktails or a party drink.
Yeah.
So for every drink you have, just drink a bottle of water.
Oh,
You know,
that's
make sure you're
brilliant.
drinking at least 8 ounces, 10
Brilliant.
ounces of water
Okay.
to help offset, to make sure that you're not getting overly hydrated. And of course, you know, dehydration can be a medical emergency,
goodness, yeah.
especially when the heat is even more. So if you're ever out and about, if you notice, you know, if somebody you're with is confused, they stop sweating, those are the first signs of heat stroke, and that is an emergency. You need to call 911. You need to get to that person to a cool place. If you can, you need to get them cold cloths or ice. Again, you don't want to try to hydrate them because that can be dangerous, but you want to cool their core temperature down and get an emergency, an ambulance, an EMT, a paramedic to the scene so they can get proper IV hydration. So yeah, that can be a medical emergency. So we just want to be aware of that.
So, can you develop a fever when you're in that situation, or is that a whole different ballgame?
That's a whole different ball game for sure. But
So you don't look for a fever; you just look for confusion.
Yeah, right, because it's called heat stroke. You know, because when people experience a stroke, generally the symptoms are the same. So even though that may be an issue, a blood clot in the brain, a bleed in the brain, etc., where somebody might get confused, they don't know, you know, they could pass out, you know, not raise their arms. This is from heat, you know, not from a blood clot, but this is from heat. So a lot of that confusion can overwhelm the person, along with they will stop sweating too. That is
because there's no more liquid left.
Right, no more liquid left.
Oh, that makes sense. I was thinking, why would they stop sweating?
Scary.
There's nothing left.
Sure.
Wow.
And just don't push yourself when it's so hot outside.
Yeah,
That can be very, very dangerous as well. But you asked about electrolytes and so forth. So yes, when we're sweating more, absolutely. You know, grab those electrolytes. There's tons of them out there. They're all a little bit different. Find a flavor you like.
And I know that you can find one that's pretty good for you too.
Sure, there are some that are better than the others for sure.
It doesn't hurt to educate yourself before you get out there. Speaking of that, so I'm going back to chemical brain again. Bugs. So I always worry. I see people spraying their kids, and the kids are standing in that fog and with the off. I shouldn't use a brand name, but to keep the bugs off. And I freak out. So I'll tell you a little story. When I was younger, we camped a lot, and all of us kids, there was a fogger that would come through the campground, and we'd run around in the fog. What it was, I have no idea, but I know it was killing all the birds' eggs and stuff. We need to talk about bug spray and keeping ourselves safe from bugs too. Mosquitoes, of course, are the number one. We have a few seconds left, and then we can continue on in the next segment. But
Well, I will, before we go on to our next segment, I'll just say prevention is key. So when we come back, let's talk about ways to prevent ourselves from actually getting those bug bites. And then we can talk about different sprays and insect repellents. Safer stuff.
And then maybe what to worry about if you do have a bug bite. I know I had a cousin that was allergic to mosquitoes. And so she was a mess all summer long. But so
prevention is key.
Okay. All right, then stay with us, because that's important. With Lyme disease, I've heard it in the news again. This is going to be an important segment to keep yourself protected all summer long and enjoy your summer. So we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Dr. Mack Is In. I'm Terry Stiles, and we were talking about protecting ourselves all summer long from several different things. We ended with bug issues.
Yes.
And there's plenty of them right now. I vacuumed the other day, and I think I murdered about 7 spiders. And I had to say I'm sorry to each one. I really am sorry when I kill a bug, but I also don't like spider bites. I did get bit by a brown recluse one time.
Oh, yes.
And so, yeah, so how do we protect ourselves and also stay safe from the chemicals?
Sure.
What do we look for?
So I'm gonna first start out. Let's talk about ways to protect ourselves.
Okay.
Right. So we always think about prevention. So avoidance is obviously the number one. But face it, we want to be outside. We want to camp. We want to go in the woods. We want to hike. Even in our own backyards. If you do live in the city, hey, there's little opossum and skunk and raccoons and those. And they can carry different ticks and so forth. But whether it's ticks or mosquitoes or spiders or God forbid a snake bite, that we are very protective to ourselves. So if you do use a harsher spray, like if you are going into an area, let's say you're going trout fishing, and you got to hike into the woods 2 miles, and you're carrying your fishing gear, and so you obviously want to protect yourself and use a heavier spray. And I apologize that I'm going to use a brand because I just can't think of another one, but like a Deep Woods Off, right? So it has lots of DEET in it, which is harmful. If you actually look at the bottle, it's going to say, do not spray directly on your skin. So it does actually tell you on the bottle, don't do it. So you actually want to spray your clothing, spray your shoes really well, spray your clothing, spray your hats. Not only that, if you go online, and I don't know if any stores, maybe some sporting goods stores would possibly have, they actually make clothing for mosquitoes and little bugs and no-see-ums. I can tell you, in Florida, we were in Florida in March, and the no-see-ums, these little
they're
tiny
terrible.
Terrible. Oh my goodness. And I came home from that trip, and I will tell you, I searched because I don't like wearing all that sprays and stuff all the time. So I'm like, there's got to be something out there.
Like chamomile or whatever. There's a natural oil.
So some more natural products that you can use. So citronella, of course, eucalyptus, lemon eucalyptus, thyme. So if you're looking for a more natural spray, look for one with essential oils in it. Can be pretty effective, but it's not quite as effective as that DEET, that off wood. So, but they actually make clothing. So here's another. They make clothing. So I came home and I purchased. It's just basically a hoodie, but it has something that completely covers the screen, right? Wow. And yes, I know we're gonna look super silly, but it's got the little zip, and has a little hand pouch. So it came with like this real thin mittens and just a pair of pants. So you can throw this on over your clothes. It's so thin, the material, and breathable. And there's, the tiny little holes, so nothing can get through there. Awesome. So, when I'm out kayaking or I'm going to be out hiking, obviously you don't have to have that hood up the whole time, but if it's bad and you want to, make sure, especially if you're going into a tick area, hey, it's easier to have this thing where you can take this off and shake it out and have less on you. If you are in those areas, always do a tick check. Get a friend or a mirror, and just look.
So
look
important.
Behind, in your ears, all around, behind your ears, around your hairline, anywhere where clothing would be. It can get, it can crawl. It's when it's
so
way in the. Oh yeah, they're so gross.
It's making me go.
Right. But again, if you do get bit by a tick, We don't want to squeeze the tick. Okay. We want to use, like very pointy tweezers and try to get as close to the skin and pull it out very quickly. We don't want to twist it. We don't want to squeeze it. We don't want to wiggle it. You just want to get it out of there. And sometimes their little mouth parts, I know that's gross, their little mouth parts can get stuck in there. If you can, pull it out with that tweezer again, but we don't want to irritate the area because that can lead to infection, not necessarily Lyme disease, but can, yes, but it can also lead to just an infection because we can introduce other bacteria and so forth into that. Again, especially for tick bites, we of course want to watch for at least 30 days, looking for any sort of rashes, fevers, joint pain, fatigue. Really? And this is one where you gotta get those antibiotics right away. So this is one where, can there be more natural things done? But yes, I'm also telling my patients, besides the natural stuff we're gonna do, we want you on antibiotics 100% because that's so much more effective. Immediately because they're so much stronger. With that. And just because we get bit doesn't mean we are going to automatically catch Lyme disease or get Lyme disease. So there's a very complicated process that happens where the tick serves as a vector to the parasite, whether it's Borrelia, Babesia, etc. It's a very complicated process. So again, removing the tick is key. Again, if you look online and you're like, oh my gosh, because you're worried, I got bit by a tick, I have no idea how long it's been there. Your first instinct is to pull the tick and throw it away. Like flush it down the toilet, kill it, you're gonna do something. Don't get rid of the tick. Keep the tick because
that makes sense.
You can actually send that into a lab for that tick to be tested to see does that tick carry one of those parasites. So again, working with somebody like myself as a naturopathic physician, we have specialized labs that can do those things, which is great. So that is a way that you can get things tested and maybe have some peace of mind if the test came back negative. I know we did that for my dad before, and thankfully the tick came back negative. There was no parasites with that.
And we have this person in our community. So if that ever happens to you, we can definitely, we know somebody. And so what, bee bites or bee stings and spider bites and
Sure.
So all of a sudden you're working out in the garden and all of a sudden you have this big red spot. Do you immediately call the doctor, or what's the best thing you can do in a short period of time?
In a short period of time, obviously if it's a mosquito or a spider, they're generally not going to leave something in your skin like being stung by a honeybee or a wasp or a stinging insect. Sometimes that stingers last. Sometimes, again, you don't want to squeeze that little ball because that injects more venom, and actually, that's
squeezing it out.
Pheromones to other bees to come and sting you more. But you want to get like a credit card or a knife and kind of like get underneath it and
pop it out.
Okay. So if it's your first time experiencing a sting or a bite, be cognizant of could there be an allergic reaction. So an anaphylactic allergic reaction is a medical emergency. Sometimes EMS needs to be called into play. Of course, if you know you're allergic, you should have that EpiPen.
Yes.
For
so
you.
Many people do.
But there can also be local allergic responses where if certain people get bit by a spider or stung, like that whole arm, can swell up. Most people itch after some sort of insect bite because that's the histamine release causing some of that itching.
Right.
But some of us can have more of a response for others. So a cold compress, and ice can actually be helpful right away to get down that inflammation.
And plantains.
Yes.
Plantain.
So plantain leaf.
Yep, and just grind it up.
If you know what plantain look like, you can, if you're out and about, you can actually just rub it on you.
Yeah. We'll put a picture up there. Unfortunately, we're out of time again. I cannot believe how quickly things go by when I'm talking with you. It's just so fun. But
that was great fun.
Plantain and stay out there and have fun, but keep yourself safe. You had some great suggestions. Things I hadn't thought about.
If I can add, so real quick, calendula ointment.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really helpful.
Yes.
Of course, there's the old, the calamine, just a baking soda paste can be very, very helpful as well. So some natural things real quick before we end today.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks, Terry.
And thank you for joining us, and we'll be back next month.